Hello and welcome to Future Thinking from Stylus. I'm your host, Christian Ward, Head of Brand Engagement and Multimedia Strategy at Stylus. Before I start, just a quick note to say that during this lockdown period, Future Thinking is available both as an audio podcast and as an on-demand video that you can watch on the Stylus website. So if you are listening to this via your podcast app and would like to see our faces, then head over to stylus.com and now you can. So today we'll be talking about how coronavirus is shifting our approach to well-being in lockdown and beyond, and how beauty can play an integral role in our search for balance, happiness, and respite. To discuss this with me, I'm joined by Sanela Lazic, retail experience consultant, brand specialist, and founder of St. Iris, a startup well-being and lifestyle brand marketing the balancing concept of fiaca to consumers in need of balance in these challenging times. And also with us is Lisa Payne, Stylus' Senior Editor of Beauty. So welcome to you both. So first, Sanela, I think we need to find out a little bit about what fiaca means and a bit more about your brand and how it all works.
Well, this is actually perfect timing for what we're talking about. Great to be with you, first of all. So St. Iris really is, it started with a really simple premise. It was all about empowering beauty with a sunshine soul. You know, it's a very simple promise that we started with as our ethos. And I think fiaca is sort of really a foundation of it. You know, it started as wanting to be an eco-luxe whole body skincare, so face and body combined, to really give customers a very sustainable skincare option that's inspired by timeless skincare from Adriatic and really tapping into recipes and remedies from bygone eras, but also as a cradle of apothecary lifestyle. It was really a perfect place to find the purest ingredients, the best ideas when it came to well-being, and really giving people that sort of opportunity to tap into themselves, into their body, which we always think in Adriatic is the powerhouse of our well-being. So not just about face, but really about finding ways of taking care of yourself, having that me time and not feeling guilty. And fiaca, it really is that. You know, when I think about fiaca, it is really about what makes you happy. It is that sort of place where you are really relaxed and you feel really powerfully alive, you know, finding what really fills your soul. And then by looking after yourself, you really can then give back to society. You can take care of others, you can take care of yourself better. You know, your health is in a much better place. And I guess having worked in consulting for other clients globally, you know, there comes a point when you kind of reach a burnout, and actually going back to fiaca, I was able to take care of myself, my loved ones, and then actually create this brand that can then offer that to other people to, you know, find a way that actually they don't feel guilty about, you know, feeling good in themselves.
So maybe you could explain a little bit more about how the brand brings this concept to consumers.
It is multifaceted. So I wanted to make it very easy way of enjoying products. So you're not bombarded with really complex ways of using products. So the products are really effective and easy to use. So therefore, the stress of using products is not there. I really wanted to take that away, because I think there's a lot of kind of complexity around skincare and how to use it or how not to use it, and how many steps in skincare there are. So I wanted to kind of take that away and kind of really give them powerful capsule collection of products that can do multitasking things for them. By doing that, you then take that stress away and you can focus on something that is, you know, a big pleasure kind of driven experience. And that comes through fragrance, through texture, through packaging, through story of the brand. It's a very escapist concept in a way, but also something that feels very familiar. You know, taking care of body, rediscovering your bathroom. You know, people say that when they open out products, they feel like it's spa in a bottle, which is really a beautiful concept. I wanted it to kind of make it feel like that, but when they kind of confirmed that, I really felt that, you know, provided them with this really kind of a powerful kit that they could use at home, that is something that can be almost kind of, their friend on their side. So that really is kind of how the brand kind of does it. And smell is a big part of that. And it's a really big part of our raising awareness. When we lose touch, particularly now in this kind of awkward time of being away from our loved ones, touch is a really big place in our sensorial kind of orientation and connecting with friends and everyone really. So when that's gone, smell really takes over. And then that really is where our brand comes in. We have a beautiful fragrance that kind of goes through our products, and it really fills the environment very quickly. And because it's natural, it just feels like you are really there in the Adriatic.
So Lisa, this is an interesting point, obviously, about the time that we're in right now and how important this sort of self-care may be. I mean, are we seeing big rise in consumer demand for self-care help from brands and media at this time?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, partly from a case of we need something to do and we need to alleviate our boredom, but also just to sort of do the things that make us feel comforted and calm and at rest, and all of this is where beauty has a really interesting place to be. And in terms of whether consumers are asking of more help from brands and media, absolutely. We've seen a spike in consumers logging onto Instagram lives from brands, helping them through meditative sessions. And then also we're seeing lots of beauty publications, like in the US, Into the Gloss, which is the publication that launched Glossier. When this all started, their editorial team published an open thread sort of seeking answers from their community on what kind of stuff that they should be covering. So they asked the readers what feels good to talk about right now, whether it's COVID or whether it's just the normal stuff that they cover. And suggestions came through that ran the gamut from a list of hygge practices, referring to that sort of cozy Danish lifestyle, a little bit like fiaker, and then to also escapist posts about candles and at-home exercises. And then equally on the other side, they had lots of requests come through for nothing to change, that they just love to talk about skincare and makeup 24/7. So I think that there is a really big role that beauty can play in this.
And do you think, I mean, it's a question for both of you, I guess, do you think that this is going to create sort of deeper changes that will last beyond the coronavirus period? Do you think that people will still need this more and more after we've come out of this situation? Sanela, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting how it kind of took this lockdown to kind of really reset our habits. So we're so used to going out there and kind of buying into services, be it spa treatments or quick fixes, and it's all about this sort of convenient lifestyle that we lead. And then when all that disappeared, it's no wonder that the biggest searches on Google at the moment are DIY nail treatments and hair touch-ups and so on, and also skincare inspiration, kind of ways of using masks and other products in a really kind of easy way that can still fit into your kind of daily routine, because people are still actually quite busy with homeschooling and all the curriculums and so on. There's still a lot that people are doing, and I'm hearing from customers actually they have very little time, but they really are willing to learn new things. And I think that will be probably the biggest catalyst when they realize that they can do it themselves, and a huge pleasure that this can take actually. My customers actually coming to me to the brand and really kind of asking for products that they could use to kind of really unwind, and I think they are realizing that there's actually a lot in it. I always say that kitchen is a place where we all kind of mingle, and actually bathroom is a place where we can socially isolate really well. So picking up a book, taking it into the bathroom, surrounding yourself with plants, there's a lot of kind of DIYing that's happened over coronavirus, and a lot of people actually investing in upping their bathroom backdrop to their well-being, a place where they can kind of find that sanctuary and, discover all these beautiful rituals. So I think that is something that I'm very excited about. I think that's probably something that we'll see a lot more following the lockdown, because it feels good. And I think people are realizing that we're buying less fashion, we're not going out, finding other ways of enjoying our home surroundings is something that actually feeds the soul in a way. And I think that's where Fiacre really kind of comes into it really nicely. It's sort of doing things that really please you. So I think that we'll definitely see a lot more of home treatments, people actually connecting on social media, sharing their bathroom moments. If they are particularly younger consumers, actually I'm finding that are really inviting people into their bathroom and saying, actually, let's hang out and kind of do treatments together. Whereas some other consumers, I think, are finding a really good way to shut out the family that they can't get away from. But actually, they will be using bathroom a lot more as a really kind of a self-discovery kind of zone.
Yeah, that's interesting point about the bathroom, because I write a lot about TikTok at the moment. And one of the things that you notice about TikTok is that everybody records in their bathroom because the acoustics are good and the light's good. Seems like the bathroom is becoming the sort of backdrop for everyone's social media life now. But Lisa, what do you think? I think you have some research suggesting that consumers are sort of looking forward to a beauty boom after this situation is finished.
Yeah, well, as Sanela said, one of the first things that people realize after the lockdown is that they can't go get their hair done, they can't get their nails done. And actually, and this was a surprise to me because I would really like to go to a restaurant or a pub after this is all over. But apparently, beauty therapy is the number one activity consumers are looking forward to once the coronavirus lockdowns are lifted. And this research came from Kantar, which scanned global social media mentions between March 24th and March 30th of this year, and discussions around beauty therapy post-quarantine had 507 social media mentions versus 215 around eating or going out to the cinema, 195 on nights out or going to the pub or having drinks with friends, and 182 mentions of live events and 74 mentions of travel post-lockdown. So wow. And that's surprising research to me, and it's really exciting because obviously people are very excited about going out and getting those treatments done again. But equally, as Sanela said, I think that there is also going to be a rise in consumers who have managed to work out how to do their nails at home, or worked out how to be experimental with hair, or to learn massage techniques and stuff, that they will continue to do that after the lockdown is over, partly to potentially save money, but also because they have created a space of calm and sanctuary in the bathroom or in the home in a way that maybe they didn't see it like that before.
So, I mean, that is surprising data. What do you think brands, beauty brands should be doing right now to start capitalizing on this potential boom?
I think it's really important to have a communication with your consumer. Lots of consumers are saying they're really happy to hear from brands, happy to have advice, happy to have help. And I think that this is where brands need to be aware of the fact that they could provide resources to consumers, maybe a way to remarket some of their products that already exist and potentially already tap into this sort of ritualistic at-home calming and self-loving, self-caring elements. So masks and body creams and body products, or oils and massage products, and all of these types of things. This is where brands can really kind of capitalize on the fact that they've already created these things, and giving consumers help in ways to create that feeling of warmth and comfort and calm in the house. I think that that's important.
Sanela, are you rethinking the products and the communications that you have at St. Iris at the moment as a result of this?
Well, it's interesting because actually the collection was created almost perfectly to answer to people's needs to stay at home and not feel bad about slowing down and spending time on themselves. So the thing that we have actually done is to really up the communication around this escapism, also revealing a lot more about the provenance of the ingredients. People have time to learn, so we're letting them into the brand a lot more, inviting them into the brand a lot more, really facilitating that dialogue. You know, we're spending more time on WhatsApp with customers. We are doing a lot more DMing on social media, so we like to do it anyway, but it's really upped at the moment, and we'd like to continue to do so, because I think that that communication, that connection is something that obviously people are craving, and at the same time they're curious about how they can make the most of the circumstances of being at home and utilizing that beautiful bathroom experience. But another thing that we're finding is actually customers are looking for straightforward products that can do a lot. So rather than lots of single ingredient products or targeted products, like for example, anything to do with hyperpigmentation, because they're not spending so much time outside, they're actually looking for more sensorial, like a great lotion or hand cream that can really soothe those dry hands that are over sanitized and that really are sore at the moment, or like a really fantastic shower gel. And it just elements that, you know, you would have normally considered as very kind of ubiquitous in beauty are now carrying a lot more gravitas, because people are looking for that really terrific, the one almost, because they are really looking to cut down on how much product they are buying. Obviously, they don't want to order too many things and have too many deliveries at the moment. They're already ordering an awful lot of food and other kind of things that are being kind of brought to their door. So really great products that can do a lot in one go and that are not very complicated. So that's kind of where our brand comes in anyway. So I feel it's, and we're seeing that really in a rise in our sales. You know, they are recognizing that actually we can offer a lot in that respect.
That's interesting about, you know, not wanting to order so much and wanting a sort of multi-purpose solution. I mean, Lisa, I think you've written a lot about that concept before on Stylus, haven't you? The sort of multitasking hero products.
Absolutely. It's definitely something that we are continuing to look at, but it's actually one of our big look aheads for this year. This concept of sustainability sort of driving consumers to consume less, consume smarter, and multifunctional products are definitely part of that. Or as Sanela mentioned, finding the one product that, you know, kind of does everything that you need it to do, so you don't need to keep buying or trying other ones. And this is also when sort of natural, really clean formulas are kind of resonating with consumers who also feel like they're healthy, which obviously is important during coronavirus, or at least consumers feel like that's important for them during coronavirus. So this is another topic that kind of ties in nicely with how consumers are feeling.
And I'd just like to go back briefly to what you were saying about talking to consumers on WhatsApp and through DMs, because I mean, I've just recorded a podcast with Sarah Wilson, who's the sort of creator of this idea of digital campfires, where consumers are much more attuned to smaller, more private, more intimate sort of social networks where they have a bit more control, and they're moving away from the likes of Twitter and Facebook. And obviously, for a brand, I've always thought that's quite a challenge to be able to try to talk to people in these spaces where they generally are just interacting with their closest friends, particularly WhatsApp. Do you find? I mean, it'd be interesting just to hear about your strategy and how you approach communication on those sorts of platforms.
I don't think I'm the only brand doing it at the moment, which is really exciting. That actually a lot of the particularly smaller brands are sort of and also service-oriented brands were really big on that. I know that Beauty Stack were almost exclusively starting to kind of do that, you know, well before this pandemic started. I think I took a learning from when I was consulting a lot more. So my clients were, or still are, very international, and I knew the only way that I could get their attention is to get into their WhatsApp, you know. So it's a little bit kind of learning from that kind of point of view. So now being in that position when I'm the brand owner, I'm essentially potentially a client to some photographers or anyone kind of in the supply network, but also wanting to kind of really connect with customers a lot more. I realized that WhatsApp is really like perfect platform to do so. So of course, you have to go gently with it. I think there is an element of trust that has to be established first, which is why I think Instagram DM is so much easier, because it allows us to still keep it very light and conversational before actually kind of going very deeply into answering specific questions, be it about skin types or usage tips, but in fact I'm spending a lot more about finding out about how they living their life. I'm learning a lot more about their family, about how they kind of the backdrop to why they're interested in the brand. So it is almost much more about getting closer to them, and they are actually very interested in me as well, which is really wonderful. That they don't want to just know about the products. That's where it starts, but they are looking to strike up a nice kind of relationship with people who actually I guess they're like in terms of brands.
It's like having a human connection with people at a time when human connection is kind of being lost a little bit.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that's really interesting. I mean, potentially the more successful you get, the harder it's going to be to talk with your consumers in that way, perhaps. But right now, it's a really fascinating to hear that you can have such a close personal connection with the people that are buying your products. Well, that was really fantastic conversation. I will be checking out this fiacre and seeing if I can find any tiny minutes in my schedule with two small children right now to give myself some self-love, so to speak. Thank you very much for joining me. I'd like to thank my guests, Sanela Lazic and Lisa Payne. And thank you for listening and watching. If you are watching, I hope you'll join us next time for more Future Thinking from Stylus.